we see artificial intelligence matching expert performance in complex tasks, diagnosing diseases, winning strategy games, writing legal reviews, and solving mathematical equations. This seems to imply something troubling. If even highly trained or skilled professionals face competition from machines, what prospects remain for those in less cognitively demanding roles? The logic appears to be straightforward. Easier tasks should be easier to automate. Yet, this assumption may overlook how AI actually integrates into organizational workflows and what makes work irreplaceable beyond raw cognitive difficulty. This video examines ways in which meaningful work can persist across a broader range of skill levels that do not involve elite expertise. Let's start off with some brief history. When LLMs first gained traction not so long ago, the ability of a machine to write poetry and answer in what felt like a human tone shocked the world. It seemed like machines would gradually move up in task complexity, perhaps at some point folding laundry or driving a car, long before they could contribute to literature. We imagined dumb robots who were good at basic tasks like addition or manual labor but struggled with things like understanding sarcasm or being reasonable. Instead, we got AI that seemed to leapfrog ahead. However, as we got accustomed to these LLMs, we started to notice issues. We have made a lot of progress since then, but LLM-based systems still struggle with creativity and novel problem solving. Even with things like poetry, where LLMs initially seemed to do so well, we now realize that simply asking a LLM for a poem often results in more of a copy of another style rather than a new work that contributes to the evolution of literary thought. While there is certainly still debate, the generally accepted opinion seems to have shifted to viewing AI as a tool that should be used to complement human creativity. Purely AI-based outputs without careful human guidance seem to underperform. This is supported by ideas such as AI slop, content produced by AI without much human effort that is deemed to not add value. AI doesn't learn the way people do. This means that it can outperform on tasks that people struggle with, while underperforming on tasks that people don't struggle with. In the current landscape, AI excels at tasks with easily verifiable outputs and where abundant training data is available or can be generated, often through simulations. However, many real-world problems are fundamentally open-ended. They lack a single correct answer or clear metrics for success. This makes it difficult to formulate an effective training objective or optimization function, whether for reinforcement learning or supervised learning. These problems are also frequently data scarce, with insufficient examples for a model to discern robust patterns. This combination of ill-defined goals and sparse data for many problems leads to significant limitations for current AI approaches. Limitations aren't strictly permanent, and research is actively being done on how to fix them. However, even after improvements, problems will likely continue to persist. Each problem that is solved may very well result in a more complex problem that remains unsolved. These ever-changing limitations and gradual improvements in capability might, however, still cause issues. Specifically, that while humans may still be required, using AI may be and continue to become more cognitively demanding on humans. Already in the present, applying good judgment by giving an agent clear instructions, checking outputs, applying creativity, and problem solving where agents fall short are all very cognitively strenuous tasks. It is in many ways easier to follow instructions on how to solve a difficult problem than to formulate those instructions. Similarly, it is often more challenging to review an output effectively than to write a draft that someone else has to review. When reviewing, it might initially feel easier. You could, for example, just approve everything, but that would be pointless. To retain value, you must be able to catch hard-to-spot errors, and that is far from easy. Asking an agent to create something for you might initially be less effort and feel easier, but to create something better than everyone else by identifying where the agent falls short and mitigating those shortcomings requires higher order thinking There is less manual effort but more cognitive load than in the past, when simply putting in effort to create something might have been enough of a differentiator. An important question may be, will everyone be able to keep up? This isn't just about the bottom few, this could affect almost everyone. In fact, even the top percentiles might start to get nervous. To answer this, firstly, it is important to remember that just because some process could be replaced by AI doesn't mean that it's worth the investment. Training AI and implementing it can be very expensive, and beyond that, maintenance adds long-term costs. In many cases where the environment is rapidly changing or the problem is unique so that if a solution is found it would have a limited benefit, it may simply not be worth it to use AI. So cost is an issue, but in the long run, competing with machines on cost doesn't sound like a great idea. The idea that AI could eventually replace lower skilled jobs, perhaps just over a longer time frame and after some efficiency optimizations, may still be concerning. There is, however, reason to believe that this is not inevitable. Firstly, humans may hold intrinsic value. Human presence can convey genuine respect or recognition. Technically, an AI could be polite, but hearing thank you from a person just feels different. In customer service, sales, care for the elderly, or nursing, that human connection may be worth paying extra for. Secondly, new roles may emerge. It's hard to say what exactly the future might hold, but we've already seen data labeling grow as a source of low-skilled work. While it's not the most exciting prospect, there may be other roles that involve supporting AI rollouts. One role that may last could be simply checking AI outputs, not necessarily on an expert level, but to check for obvious glitches or system failures. It may feel like if a machine can do it once, it'll keep doing it right forever. But if AI demos that fail spectacularly on stage have taught us anything, it's that AI is different and not in a good way. Complex AI systems may require basic oversight for a long time. The relative consistency of a human might very well be worth the cost. On an even more positive note, if administrative and repetitive tasks increasingly shift to machines, one possible outcome is not mass idleness, but a relocation of attention. Less time spent on coordination, paperwork, and routine compliance could mean more time spent on human-facing work, mentoring, caregiving, collaborating, and deliberating. At a societal level, this could open up a space for richer conversations about values, ethics, and long-term goals, questions that do not have an easy correct answer, but require discussions, disagreement, and collective judgment. In that sense, AI may compress the time needed to run society while expanding the time available to reflect on what kind of society we want to run. Imagine a room full of office workers grudging away at nothing but admin work. Do we really want to keep those roles so badly? From an individual perspective, the takeaway may be simpler and more reassuring. While AI may be disrupting and affects some work more than others, there is little reason to panic. Technological transitions tend to unfold unevenly and more slowly than the headlines suggest. At the same time, it may be worth pausing to recognize that human value is not exhausted by efficiency or output alone. Presence, care, responsibility, and moral judgment remain difficult to automate and often matter precisely because they come from people rather than systems. A broader life lesson emerges from this. Change is rarely purely good or bad. What matters is where attention is directed. It is easy to focus on what might be lost, roles, routines, and familiarity. It is harder but often more rewarding to ask what could be gained, deeper work, more meaningful interactions, and a chance to grow into roles that demand judgment rather than repetition. Perhaps the most valuable skill in any era is not resisting change but learning to dance with it, to find out where human strengths and technological capabilities create something that neither could accomplish alone.